welcome back to another episode of Pedagogy Pods. Today, we're sitting like moms and we are here to talk about something that happens to every teacher. Well, we're talking about parents, communicating with parents. And I think the thought that I want to present to us is parents as partner in learning. So, how do you communicate with parents if they are your partners in learning? I let both of them speak and then come in.
So I'll go first. I feel parents are equal partners in learning. So that's the main thing. So many times parents are on the same page as us teachers. Sometimes they are not. So the very first foremost step is to bring them on the same page. Like what is our thought? What's the journey going to be in this year? And that's how the first step is, so that there is no communication gap from the beginning itself.
Correct.
That's the first step I feel.
One should be
Oriented.
consistent in
Onboarding.
informing them, and there should be a guideline to teachers. I think they should be given something that how you should communicate, because teachers are also coming from different backgrounds. Every one of them is not in sync with that
Yeah.
how to communicate with parents.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are small little things which makes a difference,
Yeah.
because
True.
we also go as parents to teachers sometimes,
Yeah.
because our children was also studying in
Correct.
schools, and we
Correct.
went there, and sometimes we feel there is a gap in communication, or parents are not fully satisfied what we said.
Yeah.
And sometimes their questions are unanswered.
Yeah.
So I think we should all have a guideline sort of, and then it's our own this thing also,
I think
interpretation
taking
also.
from what Vinakshi and Jyoti have said, I think the first and foremost thing is that every school must have a parent communication policy. What are the communication? What are the things that you must communicate to parents? Like she said, onboard them, orient them. They should know what's going to happen in the classroom. Number two, what's the mode of communication? How often do you communicate? Are you communicating too much? Are you communicating less? There have to be set guidelines,
Yeah.
like she said.
Because parents are talking to each other. Lots of
Yeah.
parents are friends, and then they exchange notes.
Exactly.
And then if somebody is doing, one teacher is doing once a month, another teacher is doing once in 2 months. So that's a gap. Then they feel
Yeah.
it's not the standard thing they're following.
And today's parents are informed parents. They're aware parents. They're very active parents.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of the learning that's happening in the school.
Exactly.
I feel parents can not just be informed but also involved and engaged in.
Yeah, they're a very important part of learning process.
Yeah, exactly. There's so
It's
many
a
places.
three this thing.
It's a three-way process.
Yeah.
Correct. You're
Yeah.
right. And when parents come in, they get a peek into what happens in school. They get an added confidence in the abilities of the teachers, in the abilities of students, in the way they are communicating, rather than feeling, I don't know what's happening in my child's class. I don't know how is he or she being treated. I don't know what kind of learning is happening, whether my child is responding or not.
Yeah.
It just gives them a peek.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you know what? We used to have even starting a morning, like you said, onboard
Yeah.
them or make them a partner in learning. In the morning when we used to have circle time, we used to on rotation basis invite parents. We used to open a booking for them to book their slot, for them to come and see what we do in circle time, so that when they are back home, they can repeat those activities and engagements.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
even with the smallest of the children, build confidence, bring in their partnership. They're not teachers. They don't know what methodologies or strategies we use as teachers.
Yeah.
Like Meenakshi, we used to do parent mornings.
Parent mornings,
Right?
yeah, they were such an important part of our this thing.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a question to both of you. Sometimes we have to say some things which are not that goes well with this thing. We want to convey a hard message to parents.
Yeah.
Tough talk.
Tough talk.
Very tricky.
It's very tricky.
That tricky tough
And
talk.
the parent is all coming with a little. He's also thinking in mind that what is going to happen. He's also anxious about to hear about the child and
Yeah.
parent teacher meeting.
Yeah.
So how shall we convey that?
I feel your body language and your language and the words you use are very important. You have to say those words in a way that it doesn't hurt them, and still the message is conveyed. So
Mhm.
that comes with experience, and as Meenakshi said, policy. We should have a guideline that this is what you can say and this is what we can convey. So here I feel both the points are very important. Your body language has to be very positive.
Very important.
At the same time, the way you convey has to be very friendly, but in a way to convey the right message.
Yeah,
And you know, sometimes it is so simple. You don't have to really think or make a flowery language.
Yeah.
The key is transparency.
Yeah.
The key is treat them as if they're your friends, and you need their help to help their child.
Yeah.
So
Which is important,
it's a
yes.
common factor
Exactly.
that the child is binding you and the parent together. Therefore, we must come together to solve the problem. I'll tell you something very simple.
And we are not accusing them of anything.
No, no, no.
We are just conveying this is what needs to be done in future. This is what's
Well,
happening.
The minute you accuse, they accuse.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't do that.
Yeah.
What is a good place or a policy would be? Let's say, I want to convey something as simple as this child needs more practice in addition with carry forward, right? It's a very simple concept. I can't go back to tell the parent, I don't think this child knows how to do this, and I think the child needs to do math at a lower level, or you need to have another person come in to help. No, let's say let's just sit down one day. Let me share my strategy of how I teach,
Yeah.
addition with carry forward, and both the parents can come in and give them your strategies. They are not going to become teachers, but they're going to use the same language of what you're using.
Yeah.
So we could say that I think this child needs help in addition with carry forward.
Exactly.
Let's formulate how can we develop this.
Yeah.
So co-working, co-creating,
Yeah.
co-development of that skill is something that we can talk about to that parent.
Yes, that's
And
important. They will
that-
also understand that much better.
Yeah, and that there's no harm that okay, you haven't gotten it. It's all right. We can
Yeah.
always. It's a path. It's a journey.
Exactly.
You're taking a little longer. That is fine. We just need
Mhm.
to break this down into steps. We just need to find some time to help you
Yeah, so
practice.
that's what is very important. No, sometimes teachers are very direct that okay, your child does not know this,
Yeah.
so that's not the right way.
And let me remind you,
Yeah,
the child has been sent to school to learn. Therefore, it is
Yeah.
the responsibility of the teacher to help the child learn. The
exactly.
parent is just a partner in learning. But
Yeah.
consider them partner. They could be your co-teachers, co-coaches. I would say co-teachers, co-coaches.
So that's how your role is very important as a teacher to how to make the parent feel,
Yeah.
right?
So I think if we're talking about, let's say, why parents, even a child, whenever you're communicating with somebody, what is most important is strike an emotional chord with them. Be on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
That's
I think
all.
start with a little positive note.
Yeah.
This is
It's
very
so
important.
important.
That takes
Yeah,
you
exactly.
there to,
Yeah.
and they are there to listen to you
Yeah.
when you
And
start.
brings down the
that way.
fears.
Where
Yeah.
sometimes parents are very, very this thing. They are also not calm. You have to do that role also as a
Yeah.
teacher. You
Yeah.
have to calm them down first.
Totally.
That it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. He will learn.
Yeah, and
But
they're all
that is
ability
also
students in a single
ability.
class.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all right.
And don't take this as a challenge. Take
Yeah.
this as an opportunity for learning. Take this
Mhm.
as an opportunity to make a bond with the parent and the child again. To say, hey, you know what? I want to help you and help me help you.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
Mhm.
And also, don't be complaining.
Exactly.
When
That's
you're
a big
talking,
thing. Yeah,
Be more of we in a language than him, her, you. No,
I.
it's all we.
Hmm.
It's always works better when you bring down the fears of threat. When you bring down the fears of complaint,
Yeah,
and also when you are more friendly and more casual. Part.
for
I
sure.
think we need to change the nature of PTMs that we have. Parent
Yeah,
teacher meetings.
for
Yes.
sure.
And one of the best ways to do that is showcase the work of the students. Let the parents see.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
They feel
There
so
also,
proud.
these days from grade 6 onwards, there are also student-led conferences, right?
Exactly. That's where I was
So
going.
that's
Yeah.
where students lead the conferences and teachers or parents are just listening to a student, and their parent feels very very good and
Yeah.
very this thing that my child is doing so
Very
much, and
proud,
even
yeah.
very proud with the fact that child is explaining to the teacher and to the
Exactly.
parent of what they are doing in the class. So that's a very good step to start as giving them empowering the student itself.
Yeah.
So that starts the whole thing on a very good note, I feel.
Absolutely. And the good thing is that this practice is brought in even from grade 1 to 5, where you're bringing in,
Yeah.
especially from grade 6 to 10, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's where the fear starts setting in.
Yeah.
Setting in,
I
yeah.
couldn't score this much in social science,
Yeah.
language.
Or sometimes
mathematics.
parents even want to know where my child stands.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very tactful question, and we feel very this thing about
Yeah.
it that there is a class of 30 and where my child stands.
That's
Then
not
we
good.
need to
Yeah.
need to tell them that this is not the
Compare your child with your, his or
Yeah.
her own ability. Don't
ability
compare with
to
others.
Yeah,
It's
like you
easier
said.
said than done, you know. When
Yeah.
we have a class
Such a
full,
competitive environment,
exactly,
we have to know,
we
but
have
yeah,
to know,
but
and we are all leading to
but
those.
as teachers, I think we have to convey
yeah,
them that this is
Yeah.
not the
See,
right
it's very
expectation.
difficult because we all are leading up to those competitive exams to get into colleges.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
yeah,
of
But I think
course.
it is that balance that if
Mm.
you, as a teacher and parent, are able to strike,
yeah,
nothing better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Treat those marks as a matter of fact. Okay, even if you've gotten a 49 over 100, that's fine. 49 are yours. You're
yeah,
only supposed to travel the rest, right?
yeah,
Now, if you have that sort of an approach of 49 to 51, that's where, I hope I did the math right, but that's where, the crux lies. If you're
yeah,
able to help the child get, you've achieved that much.
yeah.
Let's achieve the rest and have a plan for it.
Mm.
Another thing is consistency.
Yeah.
Sometimes we take a huge amount of time in between. The child is not able to read properly. So, in the process of everyday things, everyday norms, we forget to convey that consistency is very important.
Yeah,
Because throughout the year, if 4 months are gone, that is
yeah,
very precious for a child.
You're so
Parent
right.
would have worked in
Yeah.
reading through this thing with them.
Yeah.
So they should be conveyed in a very consistent manner. Diaries are for that.
Yeah.
So many communication things are
yeah.
there.
These
through
days we have
this
so much technology here. You know,
technology.
we have,
Exactly.
we have forms, like we can do feedback, we can do,
Yeah.
Google Sheets where we can give them,
Yeah, yeah. We
constant.
should use technology.
Yeah,
in that,
technology,
the
whatever
betterment of
technology,
that
yeah,
parent-teacher
exactly.
And taking from what you've just said, consistency, what happens is we treat foundational skills learning very lightly.
Mm-hmm.
My children in my class can read at this level. All or some cannot.
Yeah,
And the minute we start ignoring this, I haven't seen many programs running grade 4 or 5 onwards. But there are certain learning gaps that just remain and they widen with time.
yeah,
Children start ignoring the big words. They don't even want to read them. We need to address them at the right time. So when you said consistency, if there are reading programs, my first ask to the school is always, do you have it only till about grade 5 or do you have it till about grade 12? Because you're never done with all
yeah,
those
exactly.
things, right? There's so many nuances to reading
Yeah,
itself.
agree.
You'll agree.
Yeah,
You're a
yeah,
language
very
teacher. There's so many angles and
Hmm.
facets to it that you
Hmm.
can actually pick up different, learning outcomes or learning objectives as you go with the grades.
Yeah,
So we
Learn
need to
with the
look at-
flow, learn with the
Yeah.
express, read with the expressions, read with the flow.
Yeah.
So many things at every stage there are different does this thing. And another thing which was very successful was sometimes you need to convey some big messages to parents. So, for example, in Hyderabad, in Pune, parents were not comfortable with Hindi. So we
Yeah.
had to have
Sensitive,
a workshop
culturally
with them.
appropriate.
Yeah.
We had a
Yes.
workshop and they were so happy. They wanted
Yeah.
to know how to teach their child. They were
Mm.
feeling very this thing ki, how shall we help our child. So
Yeah.
we had that workshop. We did some fun things in Hindi with
Yeah.
them. Why Hindi is important for them. What should they do with them? How should they help their child?
Yeah, end of the day, if you have a good rapport with the
We have
parents,
addressed so
Yeah.
many issues there that they were end of the workshop. They were went so happy that we are conveyed something very important.
yeah,
It's all about how you convey, like you said, bringing down the fears and building in a rapport and a partnership.
Yeah.
I think that is something that's crux to
Mm.
whoever you're dealing with. And
Yeah.
parents are not your fears. They're not here to tear your school apart.
yeah,
They're not here to, however much you might feel them as a threat and you don't want them to come in. I feel we should open our gates and minds and windows to bringing them in, taking them as partners in learning,
exactly.
and using them as a resource. Each parent has their own skill
Yeah,
set.
exactly.
Yeah.
Call
Why
them in.
not use that to our
Mm.
benefit?
Mm.
You can't do everything as a human.
Yeah.
Might as well use more hands to make that possible.
Sometimes we need to call parents as storytellers in our classes.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
you need to,
Very
yeah,
wonderful
build in
story.
some mathematical skills,
Mathematical
bring in
skills.
those.
Yeah.
As
Some
she
parents
said-
are doctors. They're coming to give the health advices.
Yeah.
So it's a
But I
proper
think it could
relationship.
also be deeper. You
Uh-huh.
could look at it from a lens of using them as a resource for the day. Taking them into the shoe. Career counseling is one thing. I
Yeah.
think one era where every parent struggles, one area where you need more guidance.
Yeah,
Bring in your experts from within your parent community.
exactly.
You go and look for experts in the field. Alongside
Yeah.
that, get those parents who can be of help, who are good achievers, or even who have great stories to tell, even if
Yeah.
they've achieved whatever they've achieved
Some
in
time
life.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
If they share some good success stories, it always helps for the students and teachers.
Yeah. So let's rest our case there by saying try and treat parents as partners in learning. And I think you'll see a sea change if you open your minds, hearts to them. Yeah. I hope there was a good takeaway, and I'm sure there was. So we'll see you next time.
Thank
Thanks. Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.